I just finished an interview with my client, Jerry. He's a 5'5" software engineer, Asian guy living in New York City. And here's his before and after profiles. When Jerry started with me, he was just a 22-year-old, socially inhibited, scrawny, college grad kid. And now he's fully transformed into a grown man, confidently going on 3 dates a week and approaching women in all different situations, including in foreign countries. So now you're going to hear his full story from him directly. So I'm here with my client, Jerry, out here in Florianopolis, Brazil. Great to be here with you, man.
For sure.
We spent the last 5-6 days doing an in-person immersion. So a lot of approaching during the day, approaching at night, online dates, eating food, going to the beach, just exploring the different culture, landscapes, women, in a different country. And yeah, man, so you've been with me since about the end of 2022. Now it's early 2025. So it's been an interesting journey that I want to take this opportunity to share, because there's different periods where you were like, boosting and then sort of being a little bit passive and then took more boosts up and stuff like that. So take us back, man. I mean, before you started, before, we met, where were you with dating? And then why did you join my program?
Yeah, so for sure. So I'm one of the recent graduates of Zoom University. I basically lost my entire college life due to pandemic. It's not my fault though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, even before college, in high school, when I was like 15, 16, I had a crush, but then, I didn't know what to do. My skills weren't that good. So then she ended up getting with another guy, and then, that got me a bit heartbroken for sure.
Happened to me as well.
Yep. So, that's when, I discovered self-improvement. I went down the self-improvement route, and then I learned, okay, just focus on yourself, build up your skills. The women will come later. Okay, that makes sense for me.
Right.
And then boom, 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 I work on myself, and then I get to college. Okay, freshman year, I socialize a bit with everyone. Okay, things seem to be going okay, but like no one I'm super into or anything like that. And then sophomore year rolls around and the pandemic hits and everything's gone. So then 2022 rolls around, I graduate, and it's like, wait a minute, where did my dating life go? Where did my social life go?
Yep. This is when you graduated from school, right?
Yes. And then that's when, I met you, and then it's like, it was a no-brainer for me to buy your course, because when I was going down the self-improvement route, I also had mentors for many different things. So, it really made sense. Okay, I want more results, better results in dating. So let me get a mentor.
Amazing, dude. Which that's really cool that you had, because you had this self-improvement experience leading up to it. You had done some making money courses, some advertising, different courses. So you had that mindset. In fact, you also had your YouTube channel about self-improvement, which I later found out about, which is also very impressive. But anyways, okay, so then with this mindset, you were like, let me speed up the process. Let me learn from somebody who's similar to me. What was that initial few months process like, where we set up your profile, where you started going on dates? Like, just kind of walk us through like what that process was like.
Yeah, for sure. So first few months, it's just setting up the profile. So, at first it's like, so this is cool, right? So, okay, here are my strengths. These will be the photos that will highlight my strengths. And then time to find photographers. Okay.
Yep.
This is the one. Okay. Time for practicing before the photo shoot. Okay. Let's do this kind of pose. Let's practice this kind of pose. Let's go with the flow. Like, listen to a photographer.
Yep.
And then, okay, the day of the shoot, boom, 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 boom. Get the photos done. Okay. The photos come out nice. Okay. That's nice. And then time for the bios. This is me. This is me. This is me.
So very, very step by step.
Yeah, and then, okay, everything's set up. The confidence is there. Like, this profile looks good. We tested on Photo Feeler.
Yep.
So I know it's good. It will do good. Everything's going good. Okay. And then we start going on dates. The profile is good as expected. Go on a lot of dates, but then
how was the change in your matches from before to after the new profile?
Well, before it was 0 matches because there was no profile. So,
Okay.
So yeah, from no profile to A profile. So,
Okay.
so we got a lot more matches.
Uh-huh,
I think like 100 plus is more than 0 last time I checked.
Okay, okay. That would make sense. Okay, and then so you started getting all these matches. Talk us through like learning texting and learning sort of the first few steps of the dating process.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. So first up was texting. So openers, it's basically like, oh, you want to give a more fun, flirty, challenging energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you know, first few tries, it wasn't that good. It was like very more logical and more rigid, and then after, so first few texts, no reply. Okay, let's see what went wrong. Okay, let's improve this. Let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, so now some of them are responding.
Yep.
Yep. And then as we move down the texting funnel, okay, what's after like opening and riffing? Okay, qualification. Like, what should I know about you? Okay, everything's going smoothly, and then oh, we get along. Let's meet to see how the chemistry is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we meet, and then it's time to go on a few dates.
Mm-hmm. And what was your sort of rate of dates at that point? This was, I guess, end of 2022 still, or early 2023. Like, how many dates were you going on per week?
Yeah, so 2022 went on like one to three dates per week,
Okay.
depending on
All right.
the week.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, pretty solid. Which is kind of the average for, all the guys who at least do the homework. Right. If you do the steps, it's pretty inevitable that you're gonna get at least one date a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. So at this point, you're going on dates. Which you weren't really doing during your college years, right? So now you're doing something that's actually way more difficult, which is going on dates like in the real world. What was your experience? Like, what wins, learnings did you have, or what challenges did you run into?
Yeah, for sure. So, like during the first 5 to 10 or so, it's like it's a new experience. Like, I'm just happy to be there. Like,
Right. Yeah.
hey,
I remember
this is
that.
cool. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
oh, it's so exciting. Like,
Yep.
even though it might not have gone well. The leading wasn't the best. I didn't exactly have a second location in mind.
Sure.
The dates weren't that smooth, but I had zero expectations, so
Mhm.
I was still like happy. Like, oh, no second date. Oh, that's fine.
Yep.
All good. And then as I went on more and more dates, then it's like, wait a second, there's an issue, because at this point I went on like 31st dates and only one led to a second date.
Yep. Yep.
So it's like, hold on a second.
Mhm.
I'm not getting unlucky. I'm the problem.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yep. 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 Which is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
It's a hard pill to swallow. But at the same time, you had made a lot of progress just to get to that point. So your problems are getting higher and higher quality. So now in retrospect, what was the problem with not getting the second dates?
Yeah. So the biggest problem was like I wasn't building the attraction, and the root cause of that was because I wasn't authentically expressing myself.
Yep.
And also like, even though I'm listening to them based on how they perceive me, my facial expressions, how I'm carrying myself.
Yep.
Even though I actually was listening to them, they think I'm not listening to them. So
Yep.
what I perceived was completely different from what they perceived. And that mismatch is like, I don't know about this guy. Probably shouldn't go on a second date with him.
So that was a very specific sort of communication blockage that you had, which now you can speak back on very clearly. But in the moment, like even for me, it was a bit of a haze. It was a bit of like, okay, he's obviously successfully going on first dates, but what's the blockage there? So, we, at that point, like we continue with coaching a little bit more at that point. And then pretty much between, I would say, I don't know, mid 2023 to almost the late 2024, like you're in my community, you're pretty active, but we weren't doing any like super hands-on coaching or anything until the end of 2024 when you signed up. Or do you want to,
Yeah, let me interject. I think like during that low period you described, there was actually something super important going on.
Okay.
I was so you recommended me to go to therapy.
That's right.
Yeah, and so that was so the very first session. It was super interesting. So because I'm showing up like, hey, I have a problem, but I'm not even sure if I even need therapy.
Sure,
Let's
sure,
just
sure,
do
sure.
this initial session to see
Yep.
if therapy is right for me. So
Yeah.
you know, I work with the therapist, and then she helped identify the problem in a way like uh, you knew there was a problem, but you couldn't exactly describe the
Yeah.
exact
Yeah. You're
problem.
right about that.
Yeah. So that therapy was super important for me because it really changed the way I thought about feelings, and I learned a lot about emotions. Emotions are quite
Mm.
complicated.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that because okay, so you worked with the guy that I recommended to you, which by the way, like I have a therapist that I've worked with for like 2 something years. Um, he's no longer even really my therapist at this point. He's kind
It's
of
like
just
your
like
best
my
friend.
yeah, no, like my life coach or my like grandpa that I whatever. Um, but he was very instrumental for me specifically in this capacity as well in getting in touch with my body and my emotions, which now is very important for communicating with
Yes,
women.
for sure.
So what did he help you identify that was like a blocker for you?
Yeah. So the main blocker was like the way I thought about emotion is it was like I think,
Mm-hmm.
therefore I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So the way he taught it was like so there's multiple things that go into your emotions, right? There's like what you think, how your body is feeling,
Yeah.
and how your heart is feeling, which is like more the
Mm,
soul.
okay.
So because I was only using one mode of
Um,
thinking, it's like I wasn't able to access the body and the heart. So this way, it's like I could be feeling multiple things, but I'm not aware of it. But maybe like other people can pick up on this type of energy. So
and how is that energy affecting you in your interactions with girls?
yeah, so in my interactions, it was like, okay, I think something, so therefore, I express it. So therefore, like the way I communicate, it's very verbal, right? Because I
Uh-huh.
thought like, okay, I said this. This is like verbal. Verbal is most of the communication. Where are my results? So
Mm, mm. Which is kind of the big block that a lot of guys run into is like setting up your profile is a completely like sort of digital process, right? Like when you start going on those first dates and experimenting with like that in-person interactions, every guy has a different sort of blocker at that point. Um, so then, yeah, so then you do that, right? Um, Late 2024 swings by. You sign up for the Buenos Aires immersion. So basically, a week long immersion in Buenos Aires because I was living there at the time. You come down here with another client, and we spend a week approaching, going on dates, going to the bars, getting in person feedback and correction and stuff. Um, Talk about that experience and the role that played. I guess, yeah. How did that experience boost your skill set or kind of accelerate your progress?
yeah, so yeah, that definitely. So like I know you mentioned there was like a low period, and then like even during the Buenos Aires immersion, like in the first half or first quarter, I was also still
Yeah,
kind of in a low.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the effort could have been much better.
yeah.
So then I think it was really helpful that you called me out on it. Like hey, I don't think you're taking this really seriously.
Uh huh.
Like come on, man, get it together. So
Yeah.
then that's when I kind of snapped back to reality. Woke up from the days, and then okay, I made the commitment to myself. Okay, I'm taking this seriously,
Good.
and then so boom 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 boom. So if like we're going back in time, so the initial progress from like setting up the profile is like parabola up, and then there's a low, it's like a log graph, and then
Yeah.
back in and then once Buenos Aires started, it's like we're back to the upward trajectory.
And man, I honestly like the first 2 days I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna call you out because I was just like I don't want to ruin the mood or something like. But then by like day 3 or 4, I was like, this is just bullshit, man. Like and I knew because the thing is like when you or anybody signs up with me, like I know that you want something out of this. I know you don't want to leave the experience with nothing. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, if I have to be the bad guy to get that person the thing that they wanted, so be it, right? So that's what happened. And the very next day, you go on a first day, you like pull the girl home, you like take it through the end zone, and like I could see the entire vibe changed in your energy. And this has nothing to even do with dating. It just has to do with commitment and taking shit seriously. And once you did that, like I've seen time and time again that nothing's impossible for any guy who puts their heart on it. Like they
Yeah.
set their mind on it, they put their full everything on it, they draw the line in the sand. And so yeah, from that point, we did some pretty intense one-on-one coaching for the last 2-3 months.
Yep.
During which the focus was mostly body language. So talk and setting up a new profile even then. So talk us
Yes.
through that. What were the main things we worked on? What changes happened in the last 3 months or so?
Yeah. So first up, new profile. Now that I'm 24, yeah, 24. Yep. So before the previous profile, when I was 22, I looked a lot younger.
Yeah.
Got that young, fresh graduate energy.
And we switched up your fashion pretty dramatically
yeah,
too.
and then it's like definitely like the fashion before it was more like college grad, which I was. So
which, funny enough, still worked.
Yeah, it still worked. But then as I got older, it wasn't working anymore. So okay, we gotta reinvent myself. Let's dress a little more mature. Let's have a bit more of an edge.
Yep.
And then, so that was the profile stuff. And then as for the body language stuff, so one of the things we worked on was like, so I do a thing where sometimes my muscles like when my muscles are fully relaxed, then I guess I look kind of dead inside. So that does not give off a good vibe.
Which is the disconnect that you were talking about between what you're feeling and what the other person is feeling from you.
Like I could feel like calm or like enjoying the conversation, but then once my muscles relax, then it's like, wait, this guy's kind of dead inside. Does he kind of hate me?
Yeah, exactly. And then also I remember one specific thing was like you had these very long pauses between your speech, between like phrases.
Yes.
Which ended up being like sort of the thinking then feeling thing that you were talking about. Because you were very much like calculating in your head. What was the fix for that?
Yeah, what was the fix? So basically, because what I did before is like, so someone would say something, and then in my head I would think of the complete response from start to finish, and then spit it out, right? Which can cause these long delays, like because I'm in my head, maybe time has passed,
right? But you're not realizing it.
Yeah, but I'm not realizing it. Yeah. So then the fix was like, just trust myself. It's like trust I will say the right thing, and also like understanding that like when you're communicating, it's okay to like mess up or fumble your words.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, like even now, I still mess up some sentences. I say some filler words because like before, it's like I guess maybe I thought it's like a YouTube video where everything has to be perfectly scripted.
Yeah, you know what you're gonna say ahead of time.
What you're gonna say ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Very clear and concise to the point.
Yep. That's huge, man. That's huge. And honestly, like I had a ton of fun working through that with you, because it's just like, everybody has their unique challenges, and it's a giant like social skills like puzzle where there's different pieces. Like you need this far right corner, a lot of emphasis. Some other people need this bottom left corner, a lot of emphasis. So that was huge. And then, now, like I'm seeing you in person again a few months later. Speak to what these changes have led to in terms of how your interactions are with girls now.
Yeah, so now in my interactions with girls, like I can see like they're reacting a lot more positively. We with the girls I really vibe with, we can bounce off each other's energy and like banter, and and also like now with the new way of interacting, I can like more or less sense the flow of energy in the conversation to see like if we can vibe, like because when things are going well, it's like a good ping pong match, right? You pass it,
nice.
Oh, they pass it, and then they pass it, and then they pass it, and then when things are not going well, it's like you pass it, they don't return it, they pass it, you don't return it, so then you can see
kind of clunky.
Like we don't really connect. Okay, we might not work out.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. Yeah, just even seeing some of your approaches during this week, it's like I'm blown away time and time again that um, like you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be you
Yeah.
don't have to be the 666 at all.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
you walked up to this fucking hot girl on the beach and just started talking, and she was so receptive. Like even
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, holy moly, like this girl's smoking.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and you got her Instagram, and now you guys are talking and
Yeah.
stuff. But that reality, like, for me, because like I don't know, every time I see something that like it just reaffirms my confidence in social skills being such a quintessential part of this equation. I mean, what's your, did you have limiting beliefs coming into like learning dating about yourself as an Asian or anything like that? And what are some of those that you've changed?
Yeah. So definitely like one of the first limiting beliefs, like I think every guy has is
Uh-huh.
looks are important.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, I think
Well, looks are important,
yeah, you do have to be
but
presentable.
they're
This is
not everything.
yes. You you have to be presentable. That's the bare
Yep,
minimum.
yep,
But then once you're presentable, it's not that important
yep, yep,
because as long as you're presentable, you can still get with the 10 to 20% of girls that will love you for who you are.
yep, yep. Which is a lot of girls.
Yeah, which is a lot of girls because there's a lot of people in the world.
10 to 20% of anything is a large percentage. Um, I mean, in your experience, like, how do I phrase this question? How tall are you?
Like 5'5" without any shoes and without counting any height from the hair.
Okay, yeah, sure. And you live in New York City, ultra competitive city, right? You're not like the most, jacked guy. Like you got some muscle going on. That's great. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're not like the picture perfect like Brad Pitt guy, and neither are any of us really.
Yeah,
Um, what has allowed you to still be able to go on, 1, 2, 3 dates a week, cold approach girls, go on dates? What has allowed you to do that?
yeah. It's so it all comes back to like energy, that energy you give off, right? So the way we do the dating profiles, it's like we focus a lot on the posing, the facial expressions,
Uh-huh.
because even like through a photo, you can see what kind of energy someone's
Yeah,
projecting.
yeah. Which
Like
energies, just to clarify, is another way to like say like confidence, for example. Confidence is just a form of how your energy is being expressed. But go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So like like if you're like kind of like hunched over in your
There you go.
photos, then
Yeah,
it's like the girl can tell, hold up, this guy's not that confident.
yeah.
Like even though he might be like attractive facial wise, then
Hmm.
it's like the energy's not there in the photo.
Yeah, yeah. Sweet, man. Amazing takeaways, and just crazy transformation, really, truly. And kudos to you for sticking to it for this long, despite the sort of, curves in the road, right? Because a lot of people would like have maybe some success and then like hit a roadblock, and then they're just like, well, maybe this doesn't work for me after all. And then they just disappear off the self-improvement journey, or they just don't start in the first place, right? But to really like, nothing's very linear in life. To take the opportunities when they're there, to get the big boosts, like for example these two immersion
Yeah,
experiences, and seize those opportunities, is awesome, and it's been my privilege, seriously, to,
yeah,
to
for
see
sure.
you through that.
Definitely for
um,
sure.
where do you see yourself developing from here, dating wise, as a man overall?
Yeah, so dating wise, I think I'm gonna back home in New York, just continue playing the field, keep redefining what I truly want in a this long-term relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know I'll also still be traveling to different places and just see more of the world, see like where do I belong in the world, and which culture do I really vibe with, what type of girls do I like, because even though New York's like very international and like lots of people from different places come there,
Mm-hmm.
uh, at the end of the day, like the New York culture kind of consumes them. So even though they might be like from a different country, they
Yeah, yeah.
adapt pretty
It's a
quickly,
whole thing. Oh
and they
gosh.
have the New York mentality.
Yeah, it's a thing. New York dating is a specific form of sub niche of dating.
Yeah,
Oh, and just to wrap up on one other thread that we had opened about you know, the attraction being the blocker from getting the second date, right? That was a big blocker for a very long time.
Yes.
You worked in a lot of different facets on your body language, energy, confidence, things like that. Now, how are your transitions from first to second to third, etc.? Like how is the attraction, the escalation in your dating sequence now?
Yeah. So now in the dating sequence, it's a lot more smooth. I can see the energy. I can see like the chances. Like, oh, it's going well. I can escalate a little more. Oh, she's not that comfortable. Let me like pull back a bit, ground myself more. Let's get a little more, get to know you, talk more, and then still throw in some banter later. So now I can kind of like see the entire field, like a point guard that can see
Cool,
the entire court
cool. I like
and make
that.
some plays.
Yeah, you got that awareness, that
Yeah,
overall
this whole
awareness.
spatial awareness.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, man. I guess we'll call it there. Thanks for sharing,
Yep,
and
sure.
yeah, we'll see you in the next vid.